Okay, so welcome. This is my weekly now Laugherzoom, and I'm Rosaria Cirillo, an Italian as a fireball of energy, enthusiasm, and passion, living in the Netherlands since 21 years, a bit too long now, with my Dutch husband and 2 boys. I actually spent my last 20 plus years in customer experience, in different customer experience roles in various companies. And in the last few years, I started to deepen my knowledge of the science of happiness and practice of happiness. Ultimately, the connection being that I really wanted to make customer experience the best possible, not just stop at satisfaction, but really drive it through happiness and the science of well-being. So that's also how I got into the HSA Academy. And now I'm a certified customer experience professional, happiness trainer with Alben Shahar, design thinking facilitators, happiness game facilitator, and
great.
And a lot of things, because ultimately I love learning and I love sharing learning. So I guess that's the common thread. And I'm also a speaker, trainer, and corporate advisor on all things human experience and happiness. And I also run a podcast show called Happiness Contribution. Because again, for me, it's all about what can we do to contribute to happiness, and how can I help companies and individuals to improve their own happiness, but also the happiness that they provide within their teams to their customers, employees, and society overall. And with this quest, a few years ago now, in 2018, I did an entire research and found 300 cases, and I published a book called Yellow Goldfish, and then the second version, Yellow Factor, in which I focus on 9 factors that drive happiness. There, smile and laughter was a major factor. But back then, I didn't know yet that you could actually laugh also intentionally as a physical exercise. So I started, after I published the book, I started to go deeper in that. And that's when I discovered laughter yoga. So 2 years ago, I became also laughter yoga leader and then laughter yoga teacher with Dr. Kataria. And now I run, in addition to the workshops and sessions for companies, I run this free weekly Laugherzoom as a way to keep going. And it's also my way to contribute to happiness through laughter. And the way it works is that I do 5 to 8 minutes maximum introduction on what is laughter yoga, especially for people who never heard about it. Then we spend a few minutes on the topic, because I'm trying to get every series around a specific topic. And then we absolutely laugh for 10 minutes, because that is the minimum that we need for our body to produce the joy cocktail. And then we do 5 minutes of closure. And then if for people that want to learn more about laughter yoga specifically, I also have an episode number 4 in the podcast, blog post with much more details. Here, I just give the pills. And I'm curious, Letitia, have you ever heard about laughter yoga?
No, that's the first time.
Okay, so yeah, done it. Cool. So the first thing I want to do before even we start, it's a check-in. How do you feel right now? So on a scale from 0 to 10, taking into account your enthusiasm, your mood, your energy level, stress management, 0 is worst and 10 is best. How are you feeling right now?
I would say 6.
Okay, so let's see, and then we do a check again at the end. We see the impact. So briefly about laughter yoga, it's basically a very revolutionary yet simple idea that is based on the fact that everybody can laugh for no reason. So we know that laughter is very beneficial, but we enjoy watching a comedy or a show or going out with friends, and we feel great when we laugh. But in those cases, we have to wait for those situations to happen. So what if we could laugh even more? And that's where this Dr. Kataria, which is an Indian doctor, in 95, he was studying how to improve health and why the says that laughter is the best medicine. And he starts thinking, can we not just laugh intentionally without having to rely on humor, jokes, or comedy? So he came up with this idea of laughing in a group by relying on eye contact, so activating the mirror neurons and childlike playfulness. In that way, the laughter is simulated as a body exercise. And even though at the beginning you might need to fake it, so like you have to kind of provoke it, very quickly it turns into contagious laughter. And even if one day you just feel really sad and all you do is pretend laughter, actually the amazing thing is that our body is not able to recognize the real laughter and the fake laughter as long as it's intentional. So we still get the same benefits. And as you know from the HSA Academy, because of the body-mind connection, if we bring our body to laugh, we will end up feeling happier. So we have this motto in laughter yoga. We say we don't laugh because we are happy because we laugh. And I really experienced it myself also in one of the most difficult moments of my life, where my husband was incredibly sick in the past few months, and I still laughed every morning, and that really helped me through. And it's called, the word yoga is there because it combines laughter exercises with deep breathing. So we are not going to do any yoga poses as such. It's more the breathing element of it that makes the name yoga. And invented in 95 in India, it has now spread across the entire world with laughter yoga clubs, Zoom, face-to-face, in person, all sorts of things. And it's beneficial because we do it for at least 10 to 15 minutes, so continuous, while when you watch a comedy, you laugh maybe for a couple of minutes here and a couple of minutes there. It's also deep because we activate the diaphragm, and it's just unconditional. And I'll skip so there are a lot of benefits. I'll skip them mentioning it here, let you more experiencing them directly. And in this specific series, so what I'm doing, I'm like in every series, I'm picking a topic. In this series, for the next 4 sessions, I'm talking a bit about the dose of happiness chemical, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin, which are also actually, it's also called the joy cocktail. And that's exactly what also gets activated during a laughter yoga session. Because ultimately happiness, it's also related to our brain chemicals and all the neurotransmitters that go on. So those chemicals also have a big impact on it. And if you think of well-being, what I love about laughter yoga is that we can do it in an intentional way to create those chemicals. So dopamine is the focus of for today. So very briefly on dopamine, it's a neurotransmitter, which is also called the reward or the motivation molecule, or also the molecule of happiness, because it's key for all the other molecules as well. It's made in our brain as a chemical messenger, moving, like if you want, like really simplifying it, moving messages between our nerves and the brain and the rest of our body. And it also acts as an hormone. And it's really linked or involved with 5 main functions. The first one is motivation, mood, and energy. So it's really what is driving our reward-driven behavior, pleasure-seeking. It's like our brain knows that we get this hint of dopamine if we do something that releases us. So whenever we feel that we can get that one, we stay focused, we get energized and motivated. Like I know that I'm going to do the Laugherzoom. I'm doing it. I'm actually getting a dopamine from just doing it. So, and that's really, it's helpful, and it helps us also reduce procrastination. The other very important one, it's about needs fulfillment. Ultimately, the value of dopamine and why it is our survival almost chemical is that we need to fulfill our needs, especially eating and mating, in order to survive. So that's what the dopamine also drives. And our body generates this dopamine every single time that we feel in a way to fulfill a need. And even more, every time we generate a new way of fulfilling a need, because our body very quickly gets used to certain things. So if we always follow the same path for the same thing, we will just how do you call it? Bore with it. So we always need something new and extra. The other element is memory and perception. So it also influences our memory and our learning processes. The more whatever we do generates dopamine, the more we remember it, because again, the function of our brain is to make us do things that trigger more dopamine and more survival. Therefore, is also very much responsible for our behavior and for our addiction. So whenever we get dopamine from an activity, we want to do it more and more over and over again, which is why sometimes certain dopamine giving activity like gaming or scrolling on social media or even alcohol can become very addictive, and why instead, and they're not sustainable, and why instead laughter yoga, it's a great way, non-addictive and very sustainable way of getting that dopamine hit. And the last element I want to mention here is anticipation. The anticipation and also the recalling of a situation, they help also create dopamine. So whenever we're looking forward to something, or we remember a great experience we had in the past, we also produce dopamine. Low level of dopamines make us feel less motivated or excited about things. They can also be responsible for mental illness. This May, it's actually the Mental Health Awareness Month. And the lack of dopamine can be responsible for depression, schizophrenia, psychosis. But also having too much dopamine or only in certain moments or in certain areas of the brain is also what is responsible for ADHD, binge eating, addiction, and gambling. And Parkinson's disease also comes from our cells not being able to generate dopamine anymore. So there is really a lot of key importance for us and for our health to have dopamine. And there are quite few activities that can generate it. So I have one quick summary slide that I want to share, and then we go into the laughter. And it's this one. So I'll just focus on the dopamine. So like ways that we can trigger it is by meeting needs in new way, the feeling of anticipation, getting rewards, food, and meeting opportunities because they are about survival, celebrating, recalling good experiences, and setting and achieving goals. When we miss it, we have ADHD, depression, or the illness. Interestingly enough, there are also drugs that are pursued, like cocaine, which is exactly what cocaine does. It gives dopamine. Or there are medicines like Ritalin, Concerta, amphetamines that are all providing dopamine. But we can do it with laughter instead. So that has become my new favorite way of getting my dopamine. And with that, without any further blah, 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 we can go into the laughter. And the way we start the laughter is by doing some warming up exercise. So the first one is I will just start by clapping.
Mhm.
We start clapping because both it activates our acupressure points, but it also wakes up the child in us. And then we give some rhythm to it, which is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we add the ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. But this needs to be very aspirated because it's from the diaphragm. So we go ho, ho,
Ho,
ha, ha,
ha,
ha.
ha, ha.
Ho,
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 ha,
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 ha, ha. Ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho.
And they go, very well, very well. Yay! Very well, very well. Yay! And this is something that you're going to repeat very often, the very well, very well. Yeah, it's really like an intermezzo that we do in between exercises. And the next one we do is then we do the breathing. So one thing to activate the breathing and the diaphragm is to do what we call the dog breathing. So you breathe in, and when you breathe out like a dog. So I always demonstrate, and then we do it together. So you breathe in, and then you go from the diaphragm, and you put your hands on the diaphragm, and you get. And maybe at the beginning you will not feel it because, like, I didn't feel it for a few months. I was like, oh my God, do I have a diaphragm? But now I can really feel it. So you can have your hands on the diaphragm just below your lungs, and you go breathe in. Do you feel your diaphragm yet?
Not yet.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
difficult.
It took me weeks and months. It's really like, yeah, but then that's a great benefit because when you move the diaphragm, your lungs move up more and you refresh the oxygen in your lungs. And then we continue with the breathing exercise. And in this case, we imagine breathing in dopamine, we hold it in, and as long as you can. And then when you release it, you laugh. Okay?
Okay.
Ready, steady, go. We can do it again. And one more time. Then you can think now about a recent very good experience that you had. So for me, it was going to Gardaland with my kids, for example. You don't have to say it. You can think about it. And then you breathe in this experience. You fill up yourself. And then you open up and laugh and feel grateful for that experience. Ready, steady, go. And now we're going to some warm-up laughter. So we're going to do the vowel catapult, which is we charge up a vowel, then we launch the vowel, and then we laugh with that vowel. And we are going to do with the vowel in the name dopamine. So we start with the O. So we go O. O. And then the next vowel in dopamine is the letter A. So we go A. And the next vowel is the E. So we go E. And the next one is the letter A. So we go A. Very well, very well.
Yeah.
Very well, very well. Yeah. And then because we have the dopamine with the eating, we are going to eat our favorite fruit. What is your favorite fruit?
Mango.
Oh, okay, mango. For me, strawberry. Though I really like mango. So you imagine eating that mango or strawberry. So we go like and then we laugh. Okay.
Okay.
So it's a and then because it's all about achieving the goals, we imagine playing darts. So we launch 3 darts and then we go like, so we always charge up those laughter. And then after we charge them up, we are going to go close to the dart. We see what we scored and we scored all in the middle. So we celebrate and we laugh. Okay. Ready, steady, go. So we go like,
yeah.
So this is, as you see, it's all about kind of childfulness and imagining things. So the next thing that we can imagine is to run a marathon, because when people run a marathon runner, they actually get a surge in dopamine the moment they see the finish line, and then they get a big hit once they cross the finish line. So we imagine running towards the finish line, seeing it, and then we pass it and we celebrate. Ready, steady, go. There's all the giraffe around us. And you imagine everybody bringing you around. And then, because it's been football, at least in Italy, we have the football playing, because also there, the football players are fueled by every time that they score a goal, and then they do a victory dance. So we imagine here that we are going to dribble, we pass the ball, we get the ball, we kick the ball, we score the goal, and we celebrate.
Yeah.
Ready? So dribble.
Yeah.
And of course, certainly Naples and in Caserta, we are supporter of Naples. So the Naples has just won his third Scudetto. I actually don't know how is that called in English. This thing, this Scudetto, the championship, and it's the third time, and it was 33 years since the last one.
Yes.
So in the 90s was big celebration. So we imagine we do the number 1, the number 2, 3, and then we laugh multiple times. Okay, so we go,
yeah.
And then we imagine all the fireworks, because we had a lot of fireworks. So like, very well, yeah. And one more, it's the to-do list laughter, because we score dopamine every time we take a very big goal and we break it down into small actions, and every single time we tick the box, we get an hint of dopamine. So we imagine our to-do list with 3 items, and we tick them all. So then we celebrate because we have completed everything. So we go,
yeah. Yeah. Very well. Yeah.
Before you know it, we have laughed for 10 minutes. So we're gonna have 2 final laughter. One is what we call the shaker cocktail. So we make a cocktail with whatever you want to have in the rest of your day or week. So for me, I need to create some more content, and I need to finish my activities, and I need to reach out to a couple of people. And then I have also still a Q&A session about the positive intelligence. And then I just want to sit and relax and enjoy the evening. So relaxation and time with kids. What do you put in your cocktail?
Me too, to create content, to finish my registration for something. What do I have to do? And relax a bit.
So then we close the shaker, we shake the shaker, and then we drink it and we laugh. The final one is what we call the well done laughter, which is also mixed with qigong and yoga salutation. I do it as in the first well done on the shoulders is for each other, for having taken here. The next one is for all the teacher, past, present, and future that we had. The final one is for ourselves, for having taken the time. And then we hug and laugh. So we go, do this every single time you feel you have done something good for yourself, and then get the memory of the session. And the very final thing is, because we activate a lot of energy, we do a quick relaxation to recenter. The quick one I do in those quick sessions is just the humming. So are you familiar with the humming?
No, not yet.
So the humming, we breathe in, and when we breathe out, we do the sound
yes, okay, I see.
In our mouth, and it's just incredibly relaxing for our body. And we repeat it 3 times on our own timing.
Okay.
Start, and then we finish when we're ready. Ready, steady, go.
Yeah.
How do you feel now from 0 to 10?
Good. I think it's more like 8, so it's good. Good.
Yeah, and it's like, so just that quick thing. And it's what I notice is by repeating it really every day, it creates neural pathway, like we know, and it also makes increase the amount of laughter in your daily life whenever something funny, or not even funny, but just dramatic, but then you just say, okay, let's laugh, like the glass crashes on the floor, you can more easy laugh about it, and in a laughing and light way. So that was that, and this is the session I do normally every week. This week I do it once
Okay.
to do the 4 in the month, because it's a very weird month with a lot of holidays. So for you and for everybody looking on YouTube, if you like it, you can sign up directly on wownow.eu/Laugherzoom. You can also check my YouTube channel or my podcast and subscribe to my newsletter on wownow.eu/happy news. And if you want to nurture your well-being in a structured way with my open classes and programs, you can check wownow.eu/open programs. That's all for today. And the next session is on Friday at 2 p.m. So I'm going to